We're live. We're live again. We're live again. Let's hope that works. Oh, technology, man. Technology.
This is the whole it's the first time we're doing this, so forgive us, everybody. We're getting our technology figured out. Yeah. And I have to really give Livy props because she figured out this multi-streaming, and I just, high five.
We just have to cross all our fingers.
Hopefully we'll figure out the other part.
Yeah, cross all our fingers that we hang in here this time. That's cool. I was rambling on then. I was thinking about style, but I wanted to say one thing when I was thinking about style, because I know that you've said to me before that you've sort of found yourself in your 40s, and I think that's when I started to really think about it too. And I've told this, I saw this woman on this TV program. It just changed everything for me about what I wanted to wear, because I suddenly realized that I didn't want to be her. I didn't need to look like her, but I loved the way she put layers of clothes on. I loved the way she threw scarves around her neck and interesting jewelry and had these sort of long, I just loved the elements. I suddenly saw elements of what she was wearing. I'd never done that before. And so I went home and decided I was going to try something. And prior to that, I'd been quite conservative about how many accessories I'd worn. I was never a big accessorizer. And so I've told this story to my crowd a lot. But I remember it would have been after the birth of my fourth baby. So that's 10 years ago now. She's almost 10 in a couple of weeks. So it was after she was born. I would have been in 40 probably. And I remember going to a park and consciously deciding that I was going to wear a scarf around my neck, like a. Those are in the days before knitted shawls hit the market, and certainly I'd never actually heard of. I don't think Ravelry was even born then. So I had this cotton thing that I wrapped around my neck a couple of times, and I went to the park, and I remember sitting and feeding Tessa, and everyone was playing a game of something, and I had this strong feeling of everyone's looking at me. It's like I've got a siren saying, she's wearing a shawl. That woman's wearing a shawl. Have you noticed? She's got this thing. And nobody noticed. Yeah. And I just thought, whoa, this is bizarre. And I slowly kind of grew my courage around it. And I started wearing earrings, like big. And I thought, I really like this. I'm starting to feel a bit like me in all of this. And then I discovered big, like really big chunky rings and bangles. And I thought, I'm really getting a sense of who I am in all of this. And it was just a slow step into, I think two things. One, I was allowed to be me louder. I let myself be louder, although I'm a very loud person. I didn't visually have a big loud presence, and I don't know why. I don't know why we hide. Did you find you did that? You sort of hid somehow?
Yeah. I feel like it's about visibility somehow, and that in my 20s I was really trying to just fall in step, and I was trying to be what I thought I was supposed to be and wear what I thought a young mother should wear, and I was quite conservative, and I didn't ever wear any loud jewelry. I love big earrings, but traveling, I'm just wearing the earrings my husband gave me for our anniversary, and I didn't pack anything else so I wouldn't have to think about or lose, because I'm notorious for losing my earrings. I have all these beautiful handmade earrings that I love, and I've lost one in almost every city I've been in. So now I'm like, these have these locking backs on them, so I won't lose one. I'm terrible. But I love like a big statement necklace. But I think it was absolutely about visibility and feeling, for some reason, this sense of not wanting to shine too bright or like be too visible or too noticed. And I'm not really sure, completely what that was all about, but it's been as I've gotten older that I realized, number one, like you said, people aren't actually really paying that close of attention to what we're wearing. I mean, I remember the first time I wore kind of a big statement necklace and some big earrings. I went to a wine tasting, and I thought that when I arrived that the people I was meeting were going to be like, whoa, Marie, why are you going over the top with your outfit today? And nobody even noticed. No one even blinked. And actually, when I looked back at pictures, I was like, that was so tame. I don't know why I thought it was such a big deal. Yeah. But as I've gotten older, I think I'm just starting to feel comfortable wearing what I want. And if I want to wear a big necklace, I will. If I want to wear some, wooden clogs, I'm going to wear them. Like I can pair things together and I don't care if it matches, or I mean, it matches, but like, I don't care if it's what someone else would say goes together. If I say it goes together, it does. And that is really, really freeing. And I think just realizing that visibility is, a lot of it, I think, is in our own mind. Like it's not so much that other people are noticing us and what we're wearing as much as we think they might be. Not sure what that's about.
I know. I definitely relate to that. I'd really relate to that. And it's funny because I think both of us are super chatty and you know, and I love people. I love, and I'm if there's something to organize, I will find myself saying, "Oh, do it," or "Oh, it's fine. I'll speak for it," you know, whatever. And so I couldn't marry that with how I then wanted to present myself to the world, and it's got easier and easier as I've got older. However, I think the thing that threw me for a massive loop, I think in my early 40s, I remember I arrived back to New Zealand in about 2013, and I would have been I don't know, how old was I then? I can't even work it out. But so I was about 43. I might have been about 43. 40, something like that. I was about
to guess 43.
Yeah,
so I think that's right.
Yeah, I think I was about 43. And I arrived back to New Zealand, and I just thought I felt fantastic. I'd figured out what I liked to wear. I just felt really good in what I was wearing, and I felt legitimately myself. And I didn't matter what everybody else here wore. I didn't care. I just wore what I wanted to wear, and I actually just felt really good. And then, just almost overnight, I lost it. I just totally lost it. And looking back, I think it was hormones. It was hormone. I'm sure it was. I just had this massive dive where I just completely lost all my confidence around it. More than that, I didn't know I just lost any knowledge of who I was for a while there. So it was about 18 months, 2 years, maybe slightly longer, where I couldn't do that. And I was terrified. It actually really shook me a lot, actually. I got quite low with it, and I found it really hard to figure out who I was, and all of a sudden it was really imperative to know who am I. And I didn't know who I was. Who do I want to wear? I don't know. I don't even know what I like anymore. I don't even know. And I really, really, oh my God, it was awful. It was so awful. It has passed.
Yeah.
But it was awful. Yeah.
And that's why I'm so glad you went through that before I did, because it's definitely been nice to be able to look to you and say, I feel so discombobulated. I feel so out of sorts. What's going on? And you can say like, might be hormones, friend.
Yeah.
Like,
and restless.
Oh my gosh, it's so reassuring.
Yeah, that really
restless.
It's like, do I want to be this? No. Oh, am I that? No, I don't know. And just that, going from feeling so strong to feeling like someone had ripped the carpet out is just, it was a terrible feeling. It was so bizarre. But no, it is nice to be able to say to you and to other people now that, and actually people said it to me at the time. I couldn't quite hear it all the time, but other people said to me, "Don't worry, this will pass." I'm thinking, "Oh, this better pass," because I absolutely hate it. I'm finding it really, really hard. Yeah. It was a hard time, but I think
I think finding ourselves in style is a process. Like you don't arrive. You just don't arrive.
No. Do you know what I think has been?
It keeps evolving.
It totally keeps evolving, and maybe I need to remember that. That's something I might forget actually when I find myself on a little hunt again for this new me. I think that I definitely am feeling these days when I get dressed, the sense I'm looking for when I'm getting dressed is, do I feel like myself? Do I feel like myself? And if I feel like myself, then I know it doesn't really matter whether it's other people like it or not. I just do feel like me, and I've got that much stronger than I used to have. It's like I've put me in the picture more now.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
It's like exactly. You may not know on the hanger, but you put it on and you're like, I know if this is me or not. And I'm so much clearer on that now than I was a decade ago, even 5 years ago, even 3 years ago. I think I'm so much more clear on that. And I was telling you recently, I know that I'm staying in this little beach town in Australia, and there are these great little shops with these gorgeous linen tops and linen dresses, and I really love linen. And I got this one that I thought, it's summer here, so it's a nice little linen dress. It's got clean lines, but it's a little bit oversized and kind of I hate to say, maybe a little bit frumpy. But like on the hanger, it was great. And in the dressing room, it was great. And around the house, it's great. But when I wore it out, before I looked at myself, I was like, oh, this is good. This is really good. But then I saw myself in the mirror and I was like, whoa, I look like I'm wearing a house dress in public. That is so not me. And I just decided, okay, that dress is great, but probably going to wear that inside because it doesn't feel like I feel when I go out. You know, it's just not the look that is representative of me, but I still love it. And of course it's great for around the house. And I might come over to your house wearing it. You're my safe space, but like I probably won't wear it out on the town because it's not quite, or maybe just a little bit of tailoring, because I think a little bit more of a tailored look is my style. But yeah, it's funny how you really know more viscerally when something works or doesn't work. And I feel that way about sweaters, and everything on my needles right now, everything that I'm knitting, I have to love it, like love it. And I have to be able to see how I'm going to wear it. And one thing that and I'm curious what you think about this, Libby, is one thing that I kind of struggle with is thinking if I design something that's very true to my style that I would love to wear, what if nobody else wants to wear it? You know, what if it's not a more universally appealing style? Have you ever thought about that? Or do you just go for it with what you want? Or do you think about the appeal?
Yeah, I'm feeling that really strongly at the moment. And because I'm keenly aware of I'm starting to be more and more keenly aware of the things that I want out of something. And so I've kind of been able to have almost like a little formula in my head about knitwear that I know I'm probably going to like. So I really like fairly simple lines, but I love a good detail. I love texture. And if I feel like if I can, those things are important to me. So when I'm putting those in a design, I know I'm going to like it more. And if I really work hard to make something I really like and I really can see myself wearing, I definitely have nerves around that, about whether other people are going to like it too. And I think what I've just had to do, I've just forced myself to do, is just let that go, just let that feeling go, because I just have to like put it out there and just trust. It's a huge amount of trust actually that it will be fine. It's just going to be fine. And but I definitely feel that.
And I think because we both have such a broad range of styles in what we've designed over the years, and so I think there's a little something for a lot of different styles and people who like to knit different things, and so that's really good as well. But it's also been interesting, and I think again like such an exercise in trust, because I have designed some things that I don't love at all, and they're actually quite popular, so I just have to keep that to myself. But at the same time, I think because early on, some of the stuff I designed that I love, I have this tee that I designed way in the beginning, and it's like one of my favorite pieces, and it really wasn't a big seller, but also I wasn't very well known at the time, so I mean that could probably also be part of it. It might be good to knit myself one that fits me now and kind of really kind of bring it back to life, but I always thought, it's because it's too minimalist, you know, maybe I need to do, I always think, I probably have to do more, but my style is really to pare back. I like a really good detail. I love good fit. We both do. We're both really into that. And I think we actually have a lot of similar things we love to do in design. So that's probably why our collection feels cohesive anyway, because we kind of come at it the same way. But over the years, I realized I just don't enjoy knitting something that I don't love, and I don't want to do that anymore. And so I've given myself more time on every project so that if I'm not loving it, I can pull it back. I'm a big proponent of frogging because I want to love it. So it's like if I have to start over, change the yarn. I mean, I think were you just saying you were changing out the yarn for something you're doing for Pacifico?
I've just swapped the yarn.
And it's freeing.
It is, because I just looked at it. And I just had that feeling of, actually, no, this is just not going to work for me. And I just changed the yarn totally for one of the pieces for the new collection. And it just feels really good. because I can do it. Feels really good. It does feel really good, but it does come with this huge amount of trust. But something else though I do think I do is that I have got pieces that I'm not overly keen on that I have designed over the years, just because I had that big period of feeling really wobbly while I was starting my business, which didn't really help, but also because my style continues to evolve, it continues to deepen, and I'm sort of I'm still figuring myself out. So I've had a huge the things that are happening for me most recently is this I'm beginning to feel that I don't need to, well, my shape has changed. I'm definitely thicker in my middle. I'm totally different, but I'm starting to let go of the feeling, because I could say it till I was blue in the face. I could say you make something that fits and you're going to feel good, but I didn't always believe that. Like I did believe it academically, but I'm not sure that I believed it inherently. And so, but I am feeling like there's a real shift in me at the moment where I actually am really, really feeling that. And so, like for example, I just made myself the skirt that I'm wearing, and I fussed around to get the right fit at the waist, and it's not necessarily the right. I have three different sizes. My body. I'm different than I used to be, but but the skirt fits me absolutely beautifully, and I feel great in it. I really feel great in it, and it doesn't even. I just have no need to change me. Yeah, and this is actually a reasonably new. I don't know, just to really have that deep belief about it. But what I was going to say, there's that. So I think there's that about making things fit. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that it's interesting that I actually now feel more comfortable in my body now that it's rounder and saggier than I did in my 30s when I was a lot thinner and I was like a stick. And it's weird because I was so self-conscious about my long legs when I was younger. Yeah. Most people are like, oh, I would love long legs. Actually, it's uncomfortable sometimes. It's embarrassing, and pants are always too short. And so I think it's just interesting that as my body has changed, but also as I've aged, I feel a lot less self-conscious about my body. And like you were talking about your skirt fitting, and I was thinking about some of the things I love to wear. You know what? I don't know if it's the most flattering thing. I don't know, but I feel good in it, and I've just decided that's my barometer now. It's not about whether it makes me look super thin, because let's just be real. We look like we look. We can't really hide that. No, it's going to look like it looks. But I love that sense of it's not surrender, because that sounds bad, but it's just this acceptance and this peace with where I am now, and like kind of this gratitude for my body. Like it's still getting me where I need to go. It's working for me. So that's kind of what I was thinking as you were talking about that.
Yeah, I think it is about that. I think it is about sort of just it's an okayness with it. So I think I'm just feeling less inclined to change myself, less inclined that I'm just feeling that I kind of need to cut myself a bit of slack and just I've always been quite a driven person, and I think I'm less inclined to feel like I need fixing. There's a lot of work to constantly feel like you need fixing, and I just am ready to let some of that go, I think, which is really interesting idea for me. But something else I was going to say was...
it is interesting, yeah.
Yeah. I think something else I was going to say was this whole business about putting your clothes on, finding something that you didn't necessarily love, that maybe isn't 100% you, but making it work when you're wearing it by adding accessories, tying a knot in it, putting on a different way. I'm much more open to being a little flexible about how I'm going to make things work as well. I feel like my rigidity is sort of lifting around those kind of things, so that I can be a little more playful with it.
Oh my gosh, that's what it is.
Do you think that's sort of, I feel like that?
That is what it is.
Yeah. And it may not stay, I may not stay like this.
In general, well, I think accepting that that's part of the constant state of evolving is that you may feel differently, but I'm really inspired by people who are just very genuine and are comfortable in their own skin, because that's so much more important than trying to pull off something impressive. I think I spent, a lot of, the last 2 decades trying to do it right. Trying to not draw the wrong attention to myself, or and just that sense of like, this is who I am today. This is what I feel like wearing today. This is how I want to present myself to the world today. And just like, that's okay. That's good. And feeling really comfortable with that and free to do that. And then also, I really truly believe that as we are that accepting of ourselves, we are just kind of by default giving permission to those around us to do the same. Not that other people need our permission, absolutely not. It's just like, I feel empowered to be myself when I'm around other people who are empowered to be themselves. And when I see other people dressing confidently and creating their own personal style, I feel empowered to do the same. And I kind of feel like that's a gift we give to each other.
Yeah, I think so.
As, because like, what does it do for anybody if we're trying to put forth something that's, false, and we're trying to impress everybody? And not that we want to show up at our worst, but at the same time, being real, I think it just helps other people feel like they get to be real too. And, we're all technically, guess what? We're all real. So it's nice that we are allowed to do that.
I think so. And I think for a long time, I was able to bring that to everybody else around me. And I did to myself to a certain degree, but then I don't think any of us are always as kind to ourselves as we are to the people around them. And so it's just, for me, it feels like it's a real marrying of inside out and outside in. I don't know. It's a funny thing, isn't it? Just those little voices you hear and being nice to yourself. I'm getting a much better sense of what that means, actually. It is a funny thing. It's a funny old thing. So,
did you ever dress in a way that you were trying to hide part of your body, or that you felt did that ever influence your style?
In my 20s, for sure. Absolutely, in my 20s. I think my 30s were just given away to being pregnant. And to be honest, I loved being pregnant. I felt such a huge liberation in having this enormous stomach. And I did get very large very fast, always. And I loved that. I loved it, every aspect of that. So my 30s were kind of happy in that way. But my 20s, I worked a corporate job. I had come out of university where we ate a lot of golden syrup on toast and drank a lot of beer. And I was really kind of, not looking after myself at all. But I went into this corporate environment where everyone wore these suits and, it was all smart and high heels. And that took me a while. I never did really work that out. And I did put myself into things that were tight, and I had to hold my tummy in, and I'd walk, and I'd exercise, and I wouldn't eat enough, and I did all of those things in my 20s, for sure. That makes me think of when I started working in healthcare, and I was doing office. I was in an office for the ER admitting, and they told me, you can wear scrubs if you want. And I was like, no, I am not wearing scrubs. Like, it's not my style. And I think if you're required, because you're a medical professional, 100%. My husband's a nurse. He wears scrubs completely. If I were a nurse or a healthcare professional, that makes sense. But they were kind of telling me in the sense of like, you don't have to wear office wear if you don't want. If you want to wear scrubs, you can wear scrubs. And everybody else who did the job wore scrubs. And I would show up in, my slacks and my nice top and my heels, and I felt much more comfortable. And I think other people maybe felt uncomfortable because I wasn't wearing scrubs, but I was like, I literally could not show up at work in an office job wearing scrubs. It wasn't my personality. And so I was like, I can't do it. And I probably stuck out a little bit. It was probably a little strange for people, but I was just like, I have to wear what feels normal to me. And I feel like I'm wearing pajamas. I don't know what to do. It makes me tired, actually. I feel my energy drops. I really feel that now. So if I've got a dress for the energy I'm after, and if I'm feeling like I need to get stuff done, and I'm feeling a little more put together, and otherwise I feel like I'm just going to go to sleep. It's funny, isn't it? Things become very visceral.
I feel like it takes a lot of my mental energy when I'm uncomfortable in my clothes. I can really not stop thinking about it, and I'm aware of it the whole day. Instead of relaxing and being involved in the experience of where I am, I'm just thinking about, oh my gosh, I can't wait to change my clothes. I can't
Yeah.
wait to get out of this because I feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's weird how clear that is to me now.
Yeah, clearer. So when you're looking at, so we're doing our second Pacifico knits collection, and we've been talking a little bit about some of the things on our needles. How much of that do you feel at the moment is, like I was saying before, where you're just really diving into the things that you know you're going to love and you're going to wear, but you just have to cross your fingers and hope that it works for other people too? Do you think you've got stuff like that on your needles for this?
Yeah, so with our first collection, I admit I was in the middle of so many deadlines at the time that I feel like my inspiration was not quite as in tune at the time. I'm certainly happy with the pieces I came up with, but I always, I'm very self-critical. So I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. And this time I'm really quite focused on creating pieces that are just so me and that I want to wear. Yeah. And so I've been a little slower in the design process, but what that's done for me is it's allowed me to really be clear about I think the construction and the architecture of the pieces so that they really hit all the sweet spots for me. And so I'm actually really, really happy with everything that I've got on my needles right now. And there's one thing that I haven't cast on yet that we've talked about, but the only thing I'm nervous about it is, can I just say what it is?
Yeah, just say what it is. Yeah.
Or should I not? Okay.
Now you can say what
I'm like, should I give it away? So it's a knit skirt, and my hesitation with that, I think it's going to be really cool, but I don't know how good it's going to look on me. That's what I'm nervous about. So I have to really get past the feeling of like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to have to accept that it's a knit skirt, and maybe that will or won't work. I mean, I haven't knit it yet, so maybe it'll look fine, but I feel like a little bit more pressure.
But the thing about your skirt and the way you've described it to me is I feel like I would love it. I feel like it's got elements about it that I will I can just see myself wearing it, and I think I would really love it. So I wonder if it would feel more like, and obviously we have that massive overlap, but I think there might be elements of it that I've picked up on that maybe you need to take out to make it more like you. I don't know. Do you think?
Yeah,
like
maybe.
Some of that textural.
Maybe and once it's on my needles,
you'll feel
it. Once it's on my needles, I think it'll be more clear, because I tend to, I know, like, it's funny because I admire the people that can sketch out an idea and then they knit from this beautiful sketch, and that is so not me. No. So much of the design process, and I think that we're similar, that it just happens on the needles. And
kinesthetic.
You have to kind of watch it. Yeah, absolutely. And so it's very possible that once I cast it on, I'll kind of evolve it a little bit so that it's feels more like me. That's the only one I'm a little bit hesitant about, but the other ones, oh my gosh, I think I'm in love, actually, which feels so good because it's a contrast to feeling last time like rushed and it should change this, and I hate that feeling of wishing I would have changed something and then I didn't, and how about you? What are you feeling about yours?
I've got I'm actually feeling really good. So far really good about the things I've done. I have in the back of my mind a little niggle that some of the things I've made so far are quite simple lines, but I know I'm going to wear them absolutely wear them to death.
It's my style.
It's your style. Yeah, it has that element of yours.
It's the simple pieces that you're going to wear.
I think I am, and I've just added enough detail to it and enough, because I love detail and texture and things, and I feel like they've got enough in them to make them really me, but I'm also seeing them with everything I wear. So one of the things I'm really excited about is that because we're going to photograph it when it's really cold, we've talked about how we're going to have this sort of a group of pieces that will go together. That is just exciting me beyond belief. So in my head I haven't
and
cast
we should
this,
mention we're going to photograph it in New Zealand
in the winter. It's going to be cold, and so we thought. I was saying to Marie, I don't think we want to be getting dressed and undressed. I think we need to, think of a way of not having to do that. So we came up with this idea that we would have a few of the pieces that we'll photograph outside, that we actually don't really have to get changed. So they will flow together, which I think like that. I think in outfits, so it's really exciting me. But I'm also loving the idea in my head of how it's almost like a dance or a piece of music where there are different elements to that outfit that I can play with. And so some will be more textural and others will have simpler lines and just the yarns that will go well together and what sort of overall look I'm going for. I'm really looking forward to casting those few pieces on. But the pieces I've done already, I am thinking now about what am I going to wear them with? How am I going to, show these off? But I actually have been really pleased. And I do feel like both of us have really made that a priority to just do what we love. We've talked about it a lot, haven't we? Just do what we love. I'm really looking forward to this lot. Because I think when we photographed the other lot before, although we were happy enough and we were putting things on, it suddenly made it very real, putting what you'd created on with someone else. It was something I hadn't experienced before, and so that really,
same here.
It really made it apparent if we weren't so sure about something, didn't it? Because all of a sudden you've got an audience to that. Rather than just like, it'll be fine, so I think that's really spurred us on into, I want to be able to stand proud in this, and I want to feel that, this is totally me. It's quite exciting.
Absolutely. It is exciting. And I think working together has been really nice because as business owners, and we've both had these great independent businesses, but I think that when we work together, it actually brings out another side of both of us, and that's really fun too. And it's just been so enriching for me personally, but also just in the way that I see my business and the way that I see what I design. And we met, like 4 years ago, online when we actually talked.
Yeah, it's quite a while ago.
It's been a while, and then we probably didn't really start talking for, maybe 2-3 years ago, and then, kind of danced around the idea of maybe we could work together, and that's just such an exercise in trust as well, to see like how will we work together and what would that be like. And when you run your own business, it's really interesting to think about what would that be like to kind of share that experience with another person who also runs their own business. And actually it was so much fun. It's been fun,
and it's been so easy in so many ways, I think, hasn't it? I think we've just sort of effortlessly fallen into roles without having to have any argy-bargy, or there's been no it's just been so, I don't know, we've just fled, it's just
we never
flowed.
had to have a serious meeting.
No, we don't have serious meetings. Really, we try to, don't we?
No,
we try to have serious
meetings.
But it's been really nice the way it's just really evolved.
But we try.
But do you know the other thing I've loved about it is it's like having a baby where you get to enjoy it with someone else. And I can hear my kids. My kids are starting to get louder now. Honestly, the cows were mowing this morning. Now it's my children.
That's good.
We're actually having a debate about something. It's being able to share it. It's nothing like being able to share something with someone else who totally gets it as much as you do. I've really, really enjoyed that. I've loved that, actually, that we can kind of birth this thing together. I just really enjoyed that. It's been so nice.
Me too. And just to have somebody to say, look at this, what do you think? And I like that, what about this? And you could put it with this, and like just to have that back and forth is really fun. Well, this has been so nice. We're definitely going to do this again. We're thinking every few weeks. We're going to pop on live on our Pacifico Knits channel, and that will be here on Facebook and on our brand new YouTube channel. And we would love for you to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, I think Libby said, so that you can make sure and be notified when we go live next time. And basically what our goal is for this video podcast is it's less about showing you our knits, although we might do that sometimes as well, but it's more about talking about the experience of being a creative person and living a creative life and having the confidence to really explore that creativity and the way that you create for yourself and for others, and the way that you wear what you make. And we're going to tie in some of our own personal experience about aging and where that fits onto the spectrum of creativity, and what that does for influencing our style and our ideas about ourselves. And so we're just really excited to bring this kind of conversation from between just the two of us, the things that we talk about every day, and kind of bring it out to all of you and see if this is something that resonates, and maybe this is a conversation that you want to be part of too.
Yeah, be really nice. Just saw someone left a comment and said, when is the next collection coming out? So it'll be September, I think we've decided, haven't we? I think September. That's what we're shooting for.
Yeah, September.
Yeah. So
it is. And there's a lot of logistics. Obviously, I'll be back in the States for a bit, then I'll be back down here, and we're going to do our photo shoot in maybe July.
I think we're thinking July.
In New Zealand. And then it's just a matter of getting all of the graphic design and the layout and all there's so many components, there's so many pieces.
I know.
Getting all that together. But our goal is September, and we did well last time getting it out on time.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that that's what we're going to shoot for, and we're really excited because I think you're going to see even more of the reflection of our own evolving style and also our friendship reflected in the way that this collection comes together. And we're just beyond excited to bring it to life, and we're having a blast working on it, that's for darn sure. So I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, should be really good.
All right.
Okie doke. Well, see you later, everybody. We will see you in a couple of weeks, won't we? All right. I'm going to have a go at turning us off. Let's see if I can do it.
Okay. You can do it, Libby. All right.